we're all talking to people. You're not really helping get that message out with this type of situation here. We're just kind of reinforcing, building each other's confidence that like it's okay to be true to who you are. And there's other people attempting to do it. And while we're stuck kind of in the shadows of society at this moment, I don't think it's going to stay that way. I really don't.
I don't think so either.
Yeah.
I think they're keeping us in this echo chamber, with their stupid algorithms, right? They keep us all in this echo chamber, but at least it's enabling us to build community and share ideas. I do think they're going to cut us off completely at some point. I do think they're going to drop the hammer. But I think it's time to take it to the streets. I always tell people, if everybody who's halfway awake, quote unquote, takes it to the streets and just starts talking, the game's over. The game's over if everybody who has who has even one testicle left steps outside and starts doing what they need to do, this game's over, and I really believe that, because there's a groundswell. I think there's a critical mass. At some point, a critical mass is going to be hit. It doesn't have to be 50% or more. It just needs to be some critical mass to tip this fucking ship. But guys, I think they're going to sink the ship. I think they're going to crash the system on purpose. They have to. Yeah. I think they're going to do it. I think it's going to be pretty fucked up for a while. They're going to have to. They're going to have to close it down. They're going to have to turn the internet off, to turn the electricity off. It's their order from chaos, because their secrets are out at this point. They can't hold it together anymore. I've been saying this lately. Their fiat currency is a Ponzi scheme. It's backed by nothing. Their control is really based on nothing but our faith in it, right? So the system is an illusion. The system is only backed by our faith, and the faith is waning. So they're going to have to crash it. They have to. That's what I've been telling people. Get off the system. Start weaning yourself off their fiat currency. Learn how to build communities and grow food. Learn health. Learn shelter. That's why I like what Quiggs is saying, man. Gun up. Make militias. Get in groups. This shit constitution, which I don't even adhere to, but at least it gives us the right to have militias and have guns and stuff. They're going to take that away. There's no doubt about it. They're going to sink the whole fucking constitution. Trust me. They're going to trash the Bill of Rights. They already did it. They'll just do it officially at some point. They'll call it hate speech. They'll paint all the founders as racist, like they're doing, and they're just going to go along. You've already seen them getting rid of histories. They started with all the Confederate stuff, getting rid of the Confederate statues. They're just going to do that with this whole country. They're going to move it in, and of course they'll drum up some hoax. They'll have to have some kind of catastrophe to pin it on. And they're going to sink it. So yeah, I've been telling people, man, get your guns, get your ammo, get your food, build your skills up, learn how to grow food, and fuck these people. You don't need the system. The system doesn't give us anything, man. The world gives us everything.
What the fuck do you need all this fiat currency for, when at the end of the day, dude, your job is to be a fucking role model to the people growing up in this world, your children?
Because I want to get land and grow food. How the fuck am I going to get land and grow food if I don't have fiat notes?
Cry me a fucking river, dude. If you're a man and you got testicles, you'll figure it out. If you want it bad enough, dude, you're going to figure out a way to get it.
Well, what if I don't have testicles, Quig? How do I get some testicles? Do you got like a pill, testicular fortitude pills? What can I do?
Yeah, I got some 9mm pills waiting for you.
But my manhood's not going to allow me to. I guess I could, dude. If I was a real man, I'd go to National Forest. I'd stake me off some fucking land. I'd stand at the edges and I'd say, "Come and get some. You want some?
Guess what?
This is my motherfucking land, right?
That's it."
And then
guess what, Freedom? If we all did that, they could do nothing to us.
It's
if
right.
If all of us just, I'm serious. If everybody was just like, nah, we're done playing along. There was a conception of land ownership through humanity that basically went like this. You owned land if you put your human energy into it. If you tilled the soil, if you built a home on it, that was ownership. If you put your human energy into the land, you owned it. That was it. That was all, man. That was it. Now we have this system. They constructed this system where we have lordships. We're living in a form of neo-feudalism is really what it is. They don't call it that, but we're just living in a new feudal world. It's, I like the word neo-feudalism because, like Quig was saying,
yeah. Break that down.
It's like instead of monarchies and bloodlines owning it, even though it probably still is bloodlines, they just use fiat currency, and they have like the Elons and all these rich bastards with all the money, and they're the new feudal lords. Look at Gates buying up all the farmland. Look at all these Chinese corporations buying up all the land all around the world. The
But
most
it's like an
beautiful land.
oligarchy, or it's a tyrant, or it's feudalism. Is it necessarily a certain type of structure, or is it just the premise?
The structure's power. Structure's always
Tyrannical.
power.
Yeah.
The structure is always power, but we're living in a world now where their power they have is an illusion based off the system of fiat currency. See, their power is an illusion, but that's why I don't think it could stand, because I think true rulership in this world is just what it is. It's like power, you know. If you're the dominant silverback gorilla, you take over. Now there's checks and balances. If you're the dominant silverback, if you take over the lion pride, if you're a lion, you know, now you run the show because you're powerful. However, if you're a tyrant, the rest of the pride can get together and throw you out. And this has been seen in nature, you know. If you're a tyrant silverback, the females get together and get rid of you, man. Nature works it out. But this system has tricked us against nature, okay? This nature has formed a power structure that has no backing whatsoever, you know. Their only backing is our fear of being cut off from the system. That's why I always tell people, get off the system and they lose their power. Drop their fiat, man. Would they lose their power? You know, that's what I'm saying. The law of nature is the law of this world. There is only one law, and that's universal law, and that's the law of God. Power rules in this world. You know, and us talking right now, we're all buddies right now. We have power. If freedom ever needed anything, I'd fucking head out to Colorado or wherever he is, and I'd fucking bury a body with him if he asked me, because I respect the fucking guy. You understand? That's real power. You think Klaus Schwab has anybody who would back him like that? I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, well, I'd make it easy for you, Zetetic. I'd have a shallow grave dug out past the tree line for you. All we'd have to do is pick the body up and drop it in. Grab a beer and, you know, fill up the hole.
Yeah, dude. We could have a good story about how you took that motherfucker down, dude. It'd be great, man. You know, that's the thing, man. This is a world of power. You know, people want to villainize Nietzsche. Nietzsche talked about the will to power, and he talked about might makes right. And in the end, I think he's fucking right, man. Because in the end, it's about power. You know, and that's what I said. Their power is based off an illusion. They don't have shit. You know, we're the powerful ones, and that's why they're trying to get rid of the males. They're trying to break up the nuclear family. You know, they're trying to send mom to work. They're trying to send the kids to the indoctrination camp. You know, they're trying to send grandma and grandpa to the old age home. You know, they're trying to send the babies to daycare. You know, they want us all in the system. This is what they're doing. They're taking our power away. Humans are communal. We exist in families. You know, they trick us into they trick us into nationalism. They create these fake countries. Everything's run from the top down, people. I hate to break it to you. The countries are fake, okay? They're creating a puppet show for us. There's bloodline families that run this world, and they've done it the whole fucking time, all right? Don't even worry about your country. I do have a fondness for this country, but the reality is your freedoms don't come from the Declaration of Independence or the Constitution. It even tells you your freedoms come from God, okay? So if my freedoms come from God, then why do I need a government to protect those freedoms? Give me a break, people. It's a joke. They tricked you.
They don't want you to have a concept of inalienable rights. That's not something they want in your mind. They want you to believe you get your rights from government. That's the whole point here. So that will never be a topic of discussion, that you have rights inherent to your beingness that come from your creator. And you know those rights because of your conscious perspective. You can look within self and see that there's an obvious moral compass. You're bound to that internal judgment, and you'll condemn yourself by it too. And by the way, they've duped us all into not listening to that small, still voice within us. And through that process, we condemn ourselves, which makes us a slave of this system. We consented to our own downfall, to our own compromising of the human spirit and what we essentially are. So yeah, it's inalienable rights. All rights matter, right? All rights matter. What are your rights? I mean, you tell me, what are you willing to stand for? Because if you're not willing to stand for it, it doesn't matter who wrote it on a piece of paper or who said you have it or said you don't have it. It doesn't fucking matter. It's all fucking white noise. It's a bunch of bullshit. You're either willing to stand for something or you're not. And everybody will be tested in that. They can talk the talk all day. Oh yeah, I'm a big tough guy. I'm ready to die for everything. And then watch them be a fucking slave and a pansy and capitulate and suck beast cock to get a fucking fiat note check so they can be approved by their peers and accepted by the system. And so that's what we're going to find out in the days ahead, is who's a real motherfucker and who actually backs up what they're saying and means what they say, or is just saying it to find favor and to create, chaos and get everybody all excited.
Well, freedom.
Yo, what's up, Zetetic?
The last 2 years should show us exactly what you're talking about. Look how the cops, look how the fucking police supported tyranny, okay? Look all the men in your neighborhood, in your state, in this whole country, in this whole world. Look how everybody just folded.
And they're the example of a man, right? Your firefighter, your police officer, from day one, they're accepting unconstitutional money. They take an oath to something they never planned on actually fucking backing up and standing for. They violate your rights. They pirate you. They run around and violate everything they said that they took an oath to. And they're the man. That's who we're to look up to. Be a man, like a,
Yep. Well, the system creates and engenders our concept of what it is to be a successful man, right? They teach you want to be a lawyer, you want to be a doctor, you want to be a firefighter, you want to be a cop, right? And these are the things that we all look up to as kids, right? They train us in their concept of what a successful man is, right? And it's just a trick to get us to buy into their system, because you're right. Look how they folded, man. These cops folded, man. And I have a really disdain for cops now that I didn't have before, and as much, look at the way I am. I mean, I'm, you can label me anarchist. You can put whatever label you want on me. But here's the point. I always gave cops respect and due. Not anymore. If you're a cop, you're my fucking mortal enemy. I'm going to be straight honest with you. If you're a cop, don't talk to me. Don't look at me. If you're a cop, seriously, don't even look in my way, man. Because you're not going to find a warm welcome anywhere near me. I'm being serious, because what they did, and I watched it fold, man. When the CV thing hit, I watched my town put a curfew in. I just live in a regular town in New Jersey. It's just a regular town. I live about 30 minutes outside of Philadelphia, okay? Just a regular town, right? We have a Walmart and stuff in a downtown and a bunch of restaurants. They fucking put a curfew in, Freedom. They put a curfew. Cops, once you folded, all the doctors, Freedom, you know my story. I watched it happen. Okay, I'm not going to sit here and tell it here, but all the doctors folded. You sold your soul. Every fucking doctor who's still participating, I condemn you and I call you out in front of the Almighty.
It's unconscionable.
You sold your soul. You sold your soul to this world, all you doctors. You took an oath. You took an oath. They call it the Hippocratic Oath. You took an oath to do no harm. All right, you've offended God. Okay, and all you're going to all fucking pay. Yeah, I like that, man.
So the bottom line is you need a man in the equation. Right. A woman's not going to be able to do it by herself, which is why the nuclear family, the initial premise, is so critical. I mean, and think about that intention. Like, if everyone was coming at that creation process from the standpoint that if I bring a child in this room, and if I bring a child into this realm, I have to have both those perspectives working together in some capacity. And the only way it really works is a nuclear family, two people dedicated to their children.
Yeah, I mean, look, man.
You could say more. You could say maybe it could be polygamy or polyamory or whatever, where it's like, and that's fine. I'm cool with that too. But it has to be both energies dedicated to raising the children, because they have to see both sides of the coin. And if they don't, the imbalance. This is why we have the society we have now.
Well, let's look at the example of, let's say, the Native Americans. If we're to buy that story, we know that there's tribes that exist all over this world, right? So it's not crazy to think that the Native American story is what it was presented, at least somewhat. So let's just think of a Native American tribe and what that would look like if you were a kid in that tribe. Even if you say your dad died, whatever, he died in the war or whatever, okay? You'd still be in that tribe, right? You'd have grandpops, you'd have uncles. They'd be right there, man. When they say it's a village, it really is, I know that's a trope and everything, but my conception of humans is communal and tribal. I think that's how we're supposed to live. I think rulership is natural in those things, and you actually see competent leaders that they're not elected, right? There's no government in a tribe. There's just your elders. There's your warriors. There's your leaders, man. Your natural abilities will be rewarded, and strength will be rewarded in those things, and intelligence. It's complete opposite of this upside down society. But here's my point.
Right.
If your father dies and you don't have a dad in that society, you can have a conception that the other males would take you on, right? Because they have a direct interest
Exactly.
in because they have a direct interest in your success, right? So in this society, they create a zero-sum game using their fake fiat where it's a dog-eat-dog world where people's interests conflict with each other, okay? But when we exist in natural communities, your interests are more naturally aligned with each other and there's really no natural conflict, okay? Of course, conflicts arise, but so now if you're a young boy in this tribe, the rest of the tribe has a vested interest in your success. The men are going to pour into you and they're going to teach you because their survival is directly dependent on yours. You understand? This is trying to picture I'm painting for people where, if humans, in my conception, is if we're left to exist naturally, these things work themselves out. You wouldn't have to worry about single mothers and stuff, you in reality, okay, I know we have genetic testing now, but if you take that away throughout humanity, you don't really know who daddy is. Like they always say, mommy's daddy, mommy's baby, daddy's maybe. That's a real thing, I mean, you always know who mommy is, but you sometimes don't know who daddy is. So here's my point. You might not even have a dad. Dad might have been a marauder who came in and invaded your village while the husband was out hunting, and daddy might be somebody else's sperm from a warring tribe, a neighbor. But so what? The community would still accept you because you're still a child of God. They had a conception of God. They've engineered God out of our lives. So we look at things through secular eyes. These kids would be taken care of naturally. They just would be.
If you could find someone that has that discipline, that is, I think, an amazing thing you could do for any young man who's trying to develop, get his confidence up, discipline, all that.
Also, team sports. Like football. I played football in high school. And I wasn't the biggest guy at all. I'm not that big. I'm a fucking Guido. I'm a Sicilian Guido. I'm not that big. But I was a psycho and I had a lot of heart. And I would take down guys that were way bigger than me because, and that's the thing I'm saying about team sports is you learn things in team sports. There's so much like in the game of football. That's why I love football so much because you have different football. All abilities are welcome. You could be a 300-pound guy and you're valuable on a football team, right? Because you could kick ass on the line, or you could be a tall guy.
Yep.
Yeah, you could be like a tall dude who's fast and be a wide receiver. You could be a shorter guy who's agile and strong. You could be a running back. You can be a Tom Brady kind of guy who's not a super athlete but be the greatest quarterback ever. There's so much, but you learn your role in group sports. You learn who the big dog is, and you kind of learn your place. It's ruthless in that manner. You learn how to cooperate and work together to achieve a certain goal. There's a lot of really good life lessons I think that sports teaches. And this everybody wins culture. Is not good. There needs to be winners and losers. You have to learn how to win and you have to learn how to lose. You got to learn how to take an L in life. You got to learn how to take an L sometimes. Because life ain't always roses and sunshine and lollipops and rainbows and stuff. Sometimes life is a big shit sandwich. You got to take your losses. You got to retreat into the corner and then lick your bruises for a little bit and get the fuck back out there.
That's why like today's CEOs don't have any real insight because they didn't build the company. They just kind of fucking found their way into the seat after a certain while, but you listen to them talk, they have nothing to offer. Whereas I can go have a conversation with, a guy who's running his own plumbing business. Well, he knows a lot about, what it takes to build from nothing and the hard knocks and the L's you have to take. But I haven't heard Elon Musk say anything about all the L's he had to take,
Good point, dude.
He's the role model.
Good point.
Yeah.
Good point. I always like I wanted to bring up like the movie Rocky, right? People don't remember Rocky 1. Rocky lost to Apollo, but it was a moral victory, right? Like he lost, but he went the distance with Apollo. You know, that's why I love the movie Rocky so much. Plus, I'm a Guido Dago, so of course I have to. They just do that. You know, I have to watch that movie when I'm 7 years old. But you see in that movie where Rocky, the night before the fight, he has a revelation to himself, and he tells Adrian as well. He knows he's not going to win, and he says, "All I want to do is go to distance. No one ever went to distance with Apollo. I want to go to distance," and he does. That's his victory. See what I mean? He fucking loses, but he wins. You know, plus he gets the girl at the end. It sucks the girl was fucking Adrian. She didn't look half bad in that movie, but they could have did a little better with Adrian. But she looked okay. I don't blame him for going after Adrian in that movie. She kind of had a little attraction to it.
Terrible.
Yeah. She when he takes her to the ice skating rink and stuff. But what's her name? Tyler? Whatever. She was in Godfather too. But my point is that Rocky lost, everybody. People forget that. But he had a moral victory. And maybe that's what life is about. Maybe you can't win, but it's about going out like a fucking champ. I might not be able to beat you, Klaus Schwab and Elon Musk and all you twit fucks out there. You might get the best of me. But I'm going to go out like Rocky, okay? I just need a Mick. I just need a Mick in my side, you know, cheering me on. I need a coach, and he was a good coach. The world needs more Micks, you know, all them old Mick type of guys. Quiggs knows what I'm talking about. The world needs more Micks, you know, telling you gotta eat thunder and crap lightning, Rock. You know, calling him out, telling him when he's slacking off and shit, being like, yeah, you gotta get the fuck out of here, you're slapping off. We need more. Where's all the Micks in this world? They got rid of all the Micks. My grandpa was a Mick kind of guy.
Fucking Burgess Meredith, man.
By the way, what do you guys think of these comedians? Like, who's the Jim Brewer? There's a number of them. And then Owen. I like Owen a lot. I've heard you talk about Owen. Do you think that's a good vehicle to spread a message? I think I know your opinion, Zetetic, but I'd like to hear it anyway. Or do you think it's making a joke out of something that's a serious issue that deserves gravity and it's not a time for jokes? Like, what do you guys think?
No, I think satire. I think satire is a strong vehicle for communication because it gets people's defenses down, right? So if you're going to have a straight up, say an argument with somebody or something like that, or a debate, everybody's going to come in with their own position, and people are just going to, it's trench warfare at that point. Everyone's going to dig in, and now you're in a trench warfare battle, you know, with these people. But when you use satire and comedy, it puts people's defenses down because you're actually playing on their emotions, and you're able to communicate things through satire that I don't think you can communicate otherwise. And I think that's one of the reasons why they're shutting all the comedians up. If you look at some of these great comedians like Bill Hicks, man, Bill Hicks had such an influence on me just because he would get up there and just say a bunch of shit that was so profound, you know. He was hilarious, but he was also talking about, you know, philosophical things, and he was talking about metaphysical things in this world, you know. And like you said, George Carlin, he would get up there and talk, or the old Red Fox stuff, you know, or all the, what's his name? I'm forgetting his name now. The guy, Lenny Bruce. Look up Lenny Bruce. Lenny Bruce would just pick up a microphone and start talking about shit. They used to walk into Lenny Bruce's concerts and pull his microphone out and arrest him for obscenity. I think he was getting a little too close to the. Yeah, dude, you gotta look it up. Freedom, I swear to God. Lenny Bruce would get up there and he was funny, but he would start talking. He'd start talking about the tribe. You know what tribe I'm talking about. He'd start getting up there and talking about the system, and they'd fucking walk in and take the microphone away from him. I love that stuff, man. I love the Andy Kaufman type of stuff, you know. And Freedom, you know how I am. You know how I am, dude. And you can tell these guys are kind of like the people I look up to. So, yeah, dude. And that's the thing, man. They'll call it hate speech. They'll call comedy hate speech to outlaw it. You know, they'll try to control what people's saying because there's a power in it. You know, even if you look at guys like what's his name, the guy that went down for he was bringing his pee-pee out in front of all these girls and exposed. He's a real funny guy. He's a new one.
Was that Andrew Dice Clay? I mean,
not
that
Dice, man.
Unhinged too.
I like Dice. No, it was
Louis.
How am I forgetting his name? Louis C.K. Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Funny guy, very intelligent, you know, showing stuff. They got to take these guys down, you know. Look at the comedians now. Get back what you're saying, dude, and I'm going to wrap it up, is that these comedians are not funny, so these comedians the system promotes the comedians that they want and the comedy that they want. They tell people what comedy is and what's appropriate, you know, because anybody speaking any real truth, they got to get rid of. Like you said, look at Owen Benjamin. The guy's fucking hilarious. In Hollywood, 86 him like there
Yes.
was no tomorrow, you know? Now
He's
he's got to
witty
talk.
motherfucker.
I remember when they kicked him off. I used to follow Owen very closely. I remember the day they deplatformed him. They literally deplatformed him overnight on every single platform, and I watched it happen. He went from being a YouTube fucking star to being gone off YouTube. You can't even repost this stuff; they'll get rid of it. If you show his face on YouTube, they get rid of it. They got rid of him. Apple got rid of him. The idea that people are getting deplatformed, people should just show you exactly what the system is. It's completely top-down, run controlled. There's no private entities. There's no private corporations. How could somebody get deplatformed in one day from every single major platform if it's not top-down controlled? Get with it, people. The people who own the money control everything. I'm sorry to tell you that.
You know, even this FTX scandal, right? The conversation is being directed so easily where people are ready to throw their money back into it. We still don't see the obvious. And so I don't know if self-awareness, that was my big trump card in all this, was, you know, people would have their own moment of self-awareness and then go from there. But I'm not sure how many people are actually capable of that. That's what I've been thinking about a lot lately. Like,
Yeah, it's a good
different
point.
personality types. Yeah.
Because how could you blame these people? They've been indoctrinated from the day they were born with all this shit. It's such a travesty what they're doing to humanity, with their control. It's hard to blame people, but at the same time, we're all responsible for ourselves. So even if it's not our faults what happened to us, it's our responsibility to make it right, you know, individually. You know, and I lost a lot of trust in people. The last 2 years made me rethink humanity. I used to think that if everybody was able to be presented with real information, that the world could change. But I'm starting to see now that, you know, these people are so indoctrinated that it really doesn't matter how much information or facts you can give them. They're not going to receive it. They're just, you know, it's like they're hypnotized or something. You know, that's sad. But I didn't think that. Like, if you asked me 3 years ago, I would have had a different story. My story's different now. Is that I don't have any trust or faith in my neighbors and stuff like that, man. I don't. But I saw what everybody did during the whole last couple of years. It's like I said before, I saw how quickly everybody folded. All they had to do was go on TV. All they had to go and do was go on TV and tell us a story. Nobody was even being affected in their real life. Everyone just folded to the TV and to the narrative, man. It just goes and it shows how strong the indoctrination is. You know, it goes to show how strong their magic is on these people. It's just so sad, you know.
You know, if you're coming for me, man, you better be ready.
That's it.
Yeah, because you're
exactly
coming
right.
back.
Right. You know, and even if you're beating me down, you better keep going, because I'm going to keep coming back until you put me down, man.
Here's the way I look at it. It's like, say you're squaring up against somebody. It's just you and him, right? You need to compose yourself in a way where he has to make a decision. Because even though if he knows he could beat you, even though he's bigger, he's going to have to make a decision if that battle's worth it for him. Because he might come at it there missing an eye. He might come at it there missing a testicle. So I'm being serious, guys. Like, you just have to present yourself in a way where that person knows that if he's going to engage with you, there's probably going to be consequences. And does he really want to roll that dice? Right. That's what I always tell people. You don't have to win. You just have to fight. And it's the same thing when it comes to all these people that we're up against in this time right now. Right. We don't have to be able to beat them. We just have to fight them. Right. We have to make it known that if they want to come after us, there's going to be consequences. And are they ready for those consequences?
If I took an old lady's purse and tried to yank it off her arm, I would expect to get hit
you need an
with
ass
such
whooping.
force from behind.
It's coming.
Right.
Yeah.
But there's very few people that would step in. 10 people would walk by and get on their phone and call the police and then wait for the savior.
Well, people they'll turn on the good.
Exactly.
I was in a grocery store. This was over the summertime. I was in a grocery store. It was a convenience store near me, and it was pretty full convenience stores in the morning. People go in and get their coffee and stuff, whatever. And a family walked in. It was a husband, a wife, and about an 8-year-old daughter, and they were all wearing masks. And I was in a particular mood that day. Like I said, this summer. It's after 2 years all this bullshit.
You?
So Yeah, Steve, can you imagine? I said something. Could you imagine? So I walked up to the dad and I said, "Hey man, what are you doing, bro?" And he's like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, "You got your daughter in a muzzle. It's July. It's been 2 years. What are you doing, homie?" And he basically said to me, "It's none of your business." I said, "I'm tired of seeing it, man." But he said, "Well, well, don't look at it, right?" So I didn't let him go. I said, "Dude, what is this?" The whole store turned on me. The whole store turned on me. You know, you would have thought I was a fucking villain from like some movie, you know, like some silent movie. Like I had the damsel tied up in the
All the
train
zombies
tracks.
surrounded you.
I was twisting my
Everyone can
mustache,
say,
you know,
Yeah,
and they
it's
all
crazy.
turned on me because they were trained to turn on me like I was the problem. You know, and I realized what we're dealing with here because I'm trying to take a stand. The cops aren't doing nothing. There's nobody doing this because I'm seeing in my mind that's child abuse. I'm being honest.
Yeah.
You stick a kid in a mask and you block their face off for years and years and years so they
Yeah,
can't
it
express
is.
themselves. You know, I don't care about the breathing thing. You could breathe in a mask. I know it's hard, but you're now obscuring that child's ability to communicate. You're cutting them off from the world. You know, communication is what keeps us bonded as humans. We're social beings. Our ability, most of communication is done through microfacial expressions. All right, you cut that kid off from the fucking world. That's child abuse to me. I don't stand for
100%.
child abuse. I don't stand for child abuse. I don't care what fucking government says. I don't give a fuck. You're abusing a child. I'm going to say something. But they all turned on me, man. They almost fucking got me. They almost called the cops and stuff, you know. But what are you going to call the cops on me for? What did I do? I didn't commit any loss, injury, or harm. I was talking to another man in society, you know. That's the thing. But they all turned on me.